Stories have circulated the earth since humans have been a part of it. Everyone knows the story of Slender Man, the Boogeyman, and so many more. Today I'm going to tell you 5 stories that are known to be true because they have had eyewitness accounts and people have experienced it themselves. The first story comes from a user of Reddit, and it's called The Girl at the Pond. When this user was younger, she lived on a huge potato farm. It included a pond, a swamp area, and of course, potatoes. One night, when she gets up to go get herself a drink of water, she looks out the window that overlooks the whole property in the kitchen. She sees a young girl standing at the pond in a white gown. And she's confused by this because they live in the middle of nowhere. So she goes outside, she checks out the pond, she sees the girl's just standing straight at the pond. And then, like that, like she was dreaming, she is in the pond and the girl is staring at her. Not being willing, she moves closer and closer towards this girl. She cannot move her body and she cannot stop herself from moving. She tries and tries to fight it, but she just can't. Well, then she spurts awake up out of her bed and she is soaking wet and her mother has been calling her name. It is only then she looks down to realize that she has all these red marks going down her arms. Is this a fake story or was it actually true? The next story is called My Cousin's Uncle. This one also came from Reddit and the username was Neil. Neil said that his cousin was driving to work and had to stop to get gas at a Shell station. While she's getting gas, this man walks up to her and he looks creepy to her. She doesn't understand why he's there. She doesn't understand how he got there. He didn't drive. Her car's the only one there. Well, as she's paying for gas, he walks up closer to her and he says, "Tell your mother that I'm okay." And she just shrugged at him. She didn't think anything about it. He walked away. And she was like, okay, that was very weird. So when she goes home to tell her mother what had happened, her mother started bawling out crying. And she said, "Mom, what's wrong?" She said, "The person you described was my brother, and he was never found in Vietnam." The next one is I regret buying this VHS tape. This one also came from Reddit, but it did not have a user. This user collected VHS tapes for most of their life. They really enjoyed the nostalgic feel of a VHS tape. Many different types of VHS tapes that goes from creepypastas, old movies, you name it, they had it. Well, they go to the store to find a VHS tape. It says, "Playtime at Patricia's." When they go up to the counter to purchase this, the clerk yells back to the other employee and said, "I thought I told you to get rid of this." And they looked at the user and said, "You do not want to buy this." And the user said, "Yes, I do. I collect VHS tapes." And he said, "Trust me, you don't want to do this." But he bought the VHS tape anyway and let them have it. Well, when he got home, he put in the VHS tape and it said "Playtime at Patricia's," and it was young kid music, kind of like a Barney feel to it. It was for a young kid TV show. Well, further into it, the VHS stopped, and it was like 5 minutes of static. Well, when it come back on, this girl was on the screen, and she said, "Hey kids, you want to play?" But she didn't say it like that. She said, "Hey kids, you want to play?" And her neck turned in a 360 direction, while using the voice of an old, scraggly hag. Well, the user watching this was very confused. The user watching this was kind of freaked out, but continued to watch the VHS tape to see what was going on. Well, the girl grabbed a hold of the hands of all these kids that wanted to play, and they go up to the camera and they say, "Tell mommy and daddy goodbye." And the kids are all sad. They're like, No, we want to play. I thought we were going to play, Patricia. I thought we were going to play. And she said, "I am so sorry." And about that time, a figure with 6 arms and 6 legs that was dark and had glowing eyes popped out of the woods. And the screen went to static, but the user could still hear the screams of the children as if they were being murdered. Further looking into this, the user realized that this playtime at Patricia's had been canceled because they were in trouble for the disappearance of children. The next story is my cousin wrote a letter just days before he died. This user from Reddit also, this is also a user from Reddit, and she said that she found a note a couple days before her cousin died in his room. Well, weeks leading up to his death, he had lost his two best friends, and so he was very isolated. So she thought, okay, he's just depressed. He lost two of his closest friends, and then he passed away suddenly. It was sudden. He had no health problems. This is because him and his friends always went hiking, so they were in very good shape, very well shaped. Well, the note started off explaining the last hike that him and his friends went on, and it said in the very beginning, "If anything happens to me, know that it wasn't an accident. It was one of those monsters." Well, when his friend Dave and Jackson went on a hike up a mountain that they had hiked many times before, they had saw like what looked like a bird nest, but it had a humongous egg. Well, Jackson decided to climb the tree and take out the egg to see what it is. Jackson pulls out the egg and he climbs back down the tree, and to their surprise, the egg is hatching in his hands. And it wasn't a bird, it wasn't a snake, it wasn't anything like that. It was like a weird dog, weird, creepy dog looking creature. And it scared Jackson, so he dropped it. But when he dropped it, it fell all the way down the mountain because they were near the top. So it fell off of a cliff, and nothing would have survived that fall. Well, Jackson tells his friends that he feels like somebody's watching them. He feels like somebody is there out to get them. He can't sleep because he hears howling in the middle of the night. Well, it wasn't a few days after that Jackson was found dead. He had no reason for his death. He didn't kill himself. It wasn't a murder. His heart had just stopped. And these boys are in their mid-20s. And they're healthy. Later then, it was Dave who was saying that he felt like somebody or something is watching him. And he too, a few days later, he didn't wake up from his sleep. And his heart had just stopped. And the coroner was confused. So then her cousin wrote this note, just in case anything happened to him. And lo and behold, a few days before he died, he wrote this letter. And he died the same way. His heart stopped, and no one knew why. The next story is called Hot Breath. This user from Reddit claimed that about a month ago, she was sleeping and she had her foot hanging over her bed. Some people don't like to do that because they feel something might grab them, something might scratch them or hurt them. It's just a tall tale, right? Well, she said she had her foot hanging over her bed and she felt a hot breath on her foot. Now, they have no animals in the house, nothing that could have done that, no vents, the heat wasn't on. And she felt a hot breath, a hot, steamy breath on her foot. It says then that she didn't sleep that night at all, and when she went upstairs to talk to her sister said, "You felt that too? Don't go downstairs, that's its territory." Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want more, and I'll talk to you later. Bye guys.